Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 12:37 a.m. on Wednesday evening, going into Thursday morning. It is currently 25 degrees outside. We have yet to get our winter storm. I don't think we're going to. That we were supposed to get. And I was really excited about having a winter storm and having Alex stay at home from work. But we got ice and sleet earlier, and then like an inch of snow over it, which kind of compacted it down. And I was actually going to do the vlog from the driveway tonight. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do like one drive around to see like what the roads are like. And the roads are actually pretty good. They're not really bad at all. And it's so strange because like a half an hour north from here, like in Kokomo, they got a lot of snow. And Tanya told me that somebody that she knows in Lebanon, which is like a half an hour from here, they got like 5 to 8 inches of snow, and we got like an inch of snow. I just feel like it's always this way in Indianapolis. I bought all this food. I was so excited about it. I lit all these candles today. So I actually had a good day today. Most of my days are good days, but I had a really good day, and I was really excited about just kind of hunkering down and nesting over the next couple days with my husband, and hibernating in and watching shows and stuff like that, which, I mean, we can still do. It's winter, right? Like, Alex told me tonight, I think he felt bad, and he was like, I didn't make any plans for this weekend, so I'm going to be around all weekend, and we can act like it's, you know, a snow day. Tonight, I called Tanya. We were watching The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and because I kept on calling her today, and I was like, the snow hasn't started yet. And so I called her tonight, and I said, I am so mad that we didn't get any snow. And she said, babe, she said, we've been watching the weather, because her son and his girlfriend came over and stayed at their house tonight. And so she said, we've been watching the weather for like the last hour, and the snow is supposed to start between 4 and 8 a.m. And she said, you're going to wake up and there's going to be like 6 to 12 inches of snow. And I said, yeah, I'm not buying it, and I'm not believing it. But supposedly the snow is supposed to be bad tomorrow, and we're supposed to get 6 to 12 inches of snow and all this kind of stuff. But like, Alex did all this stuff at work today because everybody at his office was like not going to come into work tomorrow or Friday because it's supposed to be so bad out. And so I said to him tonight, I said, are you going to not go to work tomorrow? And he said, I mean, if the roads are fine out, I'm going to go to work. There's no reason for me to stay at home. And I was like, oh, I was so excited about our snow day together. He was like, you're so silly. I said, wouldn't you just love to have one snow day? See, here are the trucks. They're not even plowing the roads. They have their plows up because there's nothing to plow. I mean, there's snow on the road, but it's like literally like half an inch of snow out. If even that. I don't even think it's half of an inch. It's just enough to cover the roads. But anyway, yeah, I actually think I can just drive and vlog. It's not bad out. So I got up today and I kind of just did some stuff around the house, and then I had wanted to go to Costco and get a macaroni and cheese for us, because I really did honestly think, I mean, everybody was like talking about, I mean, the schools are closed and everything already. I'm like, I think some of the schools were closed today. And I mean, really all we had was rain. I'm like, it wasn't even freezing rain till like 6 or 7. And I was like, why are the schools closed? So anyway, but some of the schools were closed. And, so I wanted to go to Costco, and I wanted to get a macaroni and cheese and some other stuff. Alex wanted some chocolate chip. Well, I wanted to get him some chocolate chip cookies, which he ate, and I've eaten quite a few too. And then he asked me for Coke. I actually did a whole like kind of shopping vlog over on my Peter Does Stuff channel and showed all of that. And then I went to Dunkin' Donuts and did a review, and then I went to Kroger and got some stuff there as well, just for us to have like some meals and stuff. And it was so funny because somebody commented on my video and they're like, I just want to know, did you remember to get the butter? Which I actually forgot to get the butter. And so then I went to Tanya's house because she had asked me to bring her some garlic bread because she was making like this big spaghetti dinner for she and Eric and Nick and his girlfriend. And so I got her garlic bread and I took it over there. I mean, we literally thought like the storm was gonna hit any minute. You should have seen Tanya and I. We were like kids. We were like, oh my God. It was so homey. I went to her house and she was cooking in the kitchen. She had the whole like island all decked out with like salad, and she was like putting the bread in while I was there, and I had to take these juices to her too. And then there are a lot of plow trucks out. Maybe we really are gonna get some snow. I don't know. But I passed those 3, and then there was 2 over there, then there's 1 coming up behind me. So maybe we will be getting some snow. I don't know. But anyway, so she had like a fire lit, and she had like cleaned the living room and the kitchen and everything was spotless, and she had all these candles lit, and it smelled so good in her house. And then I was like, oh, I want to make a spaghetti dinner for Alex and I. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to get butter. Because I wanted to get butter for these blueberry muffins that I bought. And I got this other kind of muffin. Oh, when I was at Costco, I didn't even share this on my thing. When I was checking out, the guy that was helping me check out, he was like, you actually, those muffins are buy one, get one. And I had wanted to try these apple crumb muffins. And, which is so funny because the Costco muffins are literally like this big. They're huge. Have you ever seen them? I mean, they're like that big. I mean, you don't need buy one, get one there. So when I was checking out, he was like, you can go back and get any other muffins that you wanted. So I got the apple crumb. So I think I have like 12 muffins now. I'm gonna take some to my neighbors, I think, this weekend, so that they can enjoy them too, because I don't need them just sitting around the house. I bought all this food and I don't even know for what, but anyway, we'll have snacks for this weekend. But so yeah, what was I gonna talk about? Oh, so I was like so cozy and stuff at Tanya's house, and then I wanted to like make our house real cozy for the storm that was coming that didn't come. And so I went and filled my car up with gas, and to make sure that it was like full with gas. I mean, it's not even like raining, or it's not doing anything anymore. I called Tanya about, I guess it was about an hour ago, and I said, it's not even like, I said, it's like not bad out at all. We didn't get any kind of storm. And she was like, we're gonna get our storm, we're gonna get the snow tomorrow morning. And I said, yeah, I'm not believing it. And she said, it's not even sleeting or raining out anymore. I said, yes, I'm quite aware of that. There's nothing going on. I didn't even actually, I took the dogs out like every half an hour, 40 minutes, because I wanted to see the weather outside while we were sitting there watching TV, and I didn't even see it snow. I don't even know where the snow came from, because I never saw it snow. But anyway, so then I came home, and Alex came home. He actually got home before me, and because I pulled into the gas station, and I did a couple cameos that I wanted to make sure I got done in time so that they didn't expire. And then what else did I do? And then I made a drama video, and I did a Peterisms video, which I forgot to post. And not only that, but I also deleted it, but I didn't empty out my trash can. So I went into my trash can and I pulled the video out, and I'm posting it. It's uploading actually. Well, it's probably uploaded by now, but it was uploading tonight. I need to turn off my alarm because I was gonna lay down for an hour, and so this guy's literally full circle turning around looking at me. I set my alarm for 1:01 a.m. I was gonna get up and vlog, but I was like, Alex was laying there, and I told him, I said, I'm just gonna go vlog right now and then come back and watch a show. Tanya and my friend are watching that, the girl watching the woman in the window across the street or whatever on Netflix, and they're loving it. They said it's really, really good. So I think I want to watch that. Tanya, actually, while I was at her house, I wanted a bottle of water, and she's like, just get in my fridge. And she's like, a fridge in the garage, you know? And she's like, just get what you want. And instead, I got this Dr. Pepper Zero. It's really pretty good. I was impressed with it. So, speaking of TV shows, somebody last night, they commented, did I say something about Orange is the New Black? Because somebody commented on my video and said, well, I actually went in and I read comments from like the last 5 days, and they said, if you haven't watched Orange is the New Black by now, you're never going to watch it, or something like that. I've watched every episode of Orange is the New Black. I love it. It's one of my favorite shows. That and Wentworth. I loved both of them. That's probably one TV show that I actually did keep up with and watch as soon as it came out with episodes. My coffee tonight is the Barney's White Christmas coffee, and I am drinking it out of my Christmas mug. For Christmas. For snow. Wouldn't it be funny if that place is called Cozy Spa. Wouldn't it be funny if while I was vlogging, if it started to snow? Yeah, tomorrow, like on the weather, it says that it's going to be like during some parts of the day, whiteout conditions. I'm like, yeah, I'm not believing it. I said to Alex, Tanya said the snow's supposed to start at 4 a.m. He goes, it was supposed to start at 4 p.m. I'm like, I know. I know. Oh, well. I know people are probably like, why are you so excited about the snow? It's like, we don't really get snow the way that we used to, you know? And Tanya and I were even talking about this today. See, there's more snow plows over there. Tanya and I were even talking about this today. We were like, this is how it always is for Indianapolis anymore. Like the last 5 or 10 years, it's like they say we're going to get this huge storm, and then it either hits north or south of us. We never get any kind of storm in Indianapolis. In fact, this snow that we have right now on the ground is probably, I mean, there's snow. Can you see like the roads? There's snow, but it's literally like a half an inch. Here's a plow truck right here plowing it. For what reason is that? I just would like to have snow one day of the entire winter. You know, one day that I can get excited about a snow day or something. Oh, I was reading this article tonight. I don't even know why I didn't think of it this way, but it was talking about how since the pandemic and with like how schools have changed and that schools can do everything from home and stuff, you know, that the idea of a snow day is probably lost forever, and we will probably never have snow days like we used to have them. Because what they'll just do is, if there's just a bad weather day, they won't have a snow day. They'll just have the kids get on their computers like they did, you know, when everybody was on lockdown at home. And I thought that's so weird, and it's so kind of sad at the same time too, you know, that you'll never get to, the kids won't, in the future, won't ever be able to experience, like, I mean, if you're not from a place where you get snow, then I don't know, but, like, that was, like, a big deal when we were growing up, like, getting excited about a snow day, and I also remember, I also remember having several snow days in a row. Like, it wasn't just like one snow day. Like, do you remember how it was so funny, because I was just talking about this the other day, and then I thought this was what was going to happen today, and I think that's why they did cancel the schools, actually, because we were supposed to have all this horrible inclement weather. I like that word, inclement weather early today, and so I think they canceled the schools because it's like, why get everybody to school and then like have to, like, you know, bus them back home and stuff like that. So I think they just like kept them at home, a lot of the kids around schools around here. But I was just talking about, and so I thought it was funny because I was just talking about it the other day on my vlog about how we would go to school and then it would start snowing at like 9 or 10 or in the morning, I don't remember, but and then by like 1 o'clock, I feel like it was like earlier than that, it was like between 11 and 1, they would like we would go home. They would call school off early. We would have like early dismissal because of, was that what they called it? Early dismissal. Because of the snow coming in. And so we would get to go home early. And I remember that like being a big deal. And then like, let's say if that was on like a Wednesday or a Tuesday, I can remember after that we'd have like, we would get really heavy snow for the next couple days. And it would be really cold too, like so cold in the winters in Indianapolis that over the next couple days we wouldn't have school. So if we got out on like a Tuesday, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'd be out of school. I can remember like having several snow days like that throughout the school year. Not anymore, it's like that. Because I can remember like the first day we'd all just kind of like stay in our houses, and like the next day we would like go out and we would sled or, you know, build forts or snowmen or whatever, you know. We would play outside in the snow and then come inside, and our moms would make us hot chocolate and warm hot dogs and soup. My mom would make grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup. I loved it so much. It was fun. I remember that one winter, I think it's like the winter of 78 or something like that in Indianapolis. I've talked about this so many times, but I have like vague memories of it. So if it was 78, I would have been 6 years old, which would have been true. Like I probably was that age. And my neighbor across the street, Jessie, and her mom and my mom were like best friends. And from the time that the time that they moved on the street, for then the rest of my mom's life, her mom and my mom were like really, really, really good friends. Like die-hard, Hearthstone friends for the rest of their lives. And so I can remember the cul-de-sac, because there was 3 houses in the cul-de-sac, 3.5 houses in the cul-de-sac. And I've shown it in vlogs before. I can remember that like, it was like they had come down and plowed the snow. And so it was huge mounds of snow all through the cul-de-sac. Like you couldn't even get out of the driveway. You'd have like, they just came down and just like plowed it. They didn't like clean off like the driveways, the entrances to the driveway. So there'd be like 6-foot snow drifts. And then like people had to like clean out their own driveways and stuff. And I can remember she and I like ice skating on the cul-de-sac. And I remember doing it at night one time. We were like climbing the mountains of snow, and we were out there at night and stuff. And there was so much snow, and I can remember it was so cold. It was like the blizzard of 78 or 77. If it was 77, I would have been 5, going on 6. I think it might have been 77, I'm not sure, but anyway. It might not even been the blizzard. It might have just been some other winter that we had, and we just had really bad snow, and I just remember it from being inside. But I can remember it was really cold, and so we really couldn't go out and play a lot outside. And I remember she and I roller skated in our basement to Donna Summer music. And her mom had these old silk kimonos, and we like wore them and roller skated, because the basement in my house was like the full length of like our house. So we had like, we thought, oh, we played like Xanadu down there. Did you ever see the movie Xanadu? So whenever Xanadu came out, it was like we were playing Xanadu. I used to have this, do I still have it in the basement? It's like this like robot guy, and he played 8-track like tapes, you know. And I had the 8-track to, I don't know how I remember this stuff. I had the 8-track to Xanadu, and so she and I would roller skate to this Xanadu 8-track down in the basement. It was so fun. And my mom would make us. I also, like down in that same basement, I would play often by myself school with my stuffed animals. And I would have all these worksheets and stuff. You know, I'd ask the teacher at the end of school year if I could have worksheets. And so they would give you like all of their extra worksheets because they didn't care, you know. So I'd have this box of worksheets. And then I'd have all these stuffed animals set up in like desks. And I would sit there and play teacher, and then they had to be the students. I did it with friends too in the neighborhood. Every once in a while we would play school. Of course, you always wanted to be the teacher, you know. You didn't want to be the... There's literally no snow, no ice, nothing on the pavement right here. I mean, look at this, you guys. It is like completely clear. And this is north of Indianapolis. This is crazy. Yeah, this is like Richie Woods is right here. And it's not even like, oh, Richie Woods is open. The gate is open. It's not even really salted because I was reading something on the news. I follow like different news stations here in Indianapolis, like Fox 59 and NBC and just like the local stations. And no, I'm not a watcher of Fox News. It's just like the local Fox weather is what I like watch, Channel 59 or whatever. But on Twitter, I like follow that one. But anyway, and then like NBC and CBS, but like the local stations, like I don't even know what they're called. WTHR, I don't know. But anyway. So, I follow them on Twitter to just kind of keep up with like local news and stuff that's going on and whatever's happening in the city. And they always do like weather updates and stuff. And somewhere, something I read today said that they couldn't even salt the roads because it was raining. And so, I mean, it was raining hard like all day today, like really hard. And not like icing raining, but like, or freezing rain. It was just raining. And it was actually warmer when I left to go out today, and then the temperature started dropping, but it said that, what do you call it? Yeah, they couldn't ice, well, it does look like they salted the roads a little bit, but they couldn't really salt the roads because it was like absorbing, like the rain was absorbing the salt or breaking it down or something like that, and so the salt wasn't really working because of the rain. I don't know. But if we are truly supposed to get snow starting at 4 a.m., it's 12:59 a.m. right now, so we've got 3 hours. You know, there's another plow truck over here in the church parking lot. You know, this one is gonna wait up. You know I am. I'm gonna be like wide awake. I'll probably start watching that show about that girl in the window, and I'll be like, it'll be like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be like running to the window. This is what I did tonight while we were watching the show. Alex got laughing so hard because like every 15 minutes, I would get up and I would go to like the curtains on the, to the sliding glass door, and I would like look outside, and he'd be like, is it snowing yet? And I'm like, no. And I'd be like, but it's, because it was like freezing ice for a while, and so you could see it like on the furniture and on the patio and stuff, but then it just stopped. But yeah, we used to get a lot of snow days, and like I said, like a couple days in a row too. But I also think that like part of it wasn't just the fact that of like snow. Like our winters back in the day were really, 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 really cold. And so, and there's another plow truck behind me. And so like, especially like our elementary school, because most of us walkers, like I think like 60% of the school walked to school. So it was like, because of the majority of us were walkers, it was like, I mean, I don't know what the real percentage is, I'm just guessing, but I don't know, it was most of the school, because most of us lived there to go to the elementary school. If it was too cold to walk to school, I trimmed my beard yesterday, now it's driving me crazy. If we walked to school, then they would cancel school because it was too cold to walk to school. Do you know what I'm saying? So they did cancel school a lot because of that. Like when it was way too cold outside. Need to turn on the heat on the back so it defrosts a little bit. Listened to quite a bit of Bonnie and Clyde today. I just got to the part, literally just got to the part, where Bonnie and Clyde become like partners and it's just the two of them. They were saying that modern day psychologists, the author said, modern day psychologists today, modern day psychologists would call Bonnie an enabler. And then it said on August something 1932, Bonnie became, I remember like everything when I listened to these audiobooks. I don't know how, but Bonnie and Clyde became like inseparable as like this criminal duo. So now it's like the story about them. The whole background has all been about his gang that he formed and stuff, and it's really interesting. I honestly, like I said, I did not think I would enjoy this book, but I have to tell you, it is so good. It is really, really interesting. And it's really interesting thinking about it, like, in terms of, like, the criminal justice system then versus now, and just his attitude about a lot of stuff, and the family. I didn't feel like the family enables him a lot, honestly. They kind of, like, hide him out and don't tell the law about him and stuff. And it's funny because you can also kind of, like, imagine, like, if, like, you can see, like, these people as characters, and it's like Bonnie's mom, Emma, like, always wants her away from Clyde, and you can just kind of see her, and I can just hear her, and she's like, oh, Bonnie, you're not going to hang around with that Clyde anymore. And Bonnie is kind of like just this sharp-witted, you know, and she's like, you're not going to tell me what to do. But she does. She, like, tells her mom, like, she got a job in, it's kind of funny, like, she tells her mom that she got a job in Wichita Falls. I think that's where it is. And then, but she just goes there really to hang out with Clyde. And then, and her mom believes it. And so she also tells her mom that she got a job selling cosmetics because she didn't want her mom to worry about her. I didn't realize they were so young. That was one thing that I never knew about them. Like, she's like 21 going on 22. And I think he's like 23 or 24. Like, they're pretty young. But as far as criminals, they're complete idiots, all of them. Like, literally every kind of, like, robbery, burglary, whatever, I was going to say caper, but robbery, burglary, whatever he tries to put together, there's always something that happens. And there's, like, this one story, they're, like, escaping from this town that they tried to rob, which they couldn't even, or this store, it's like a hardware store, I think, and they couldn't even rob the hardware store because, when they were trying to pick the lock, this security guard or, like, deputy, like, sees them, so he, like, it's not funny because I think somebody ends up getting shot or something, but no, that's later in the book. But anyway, so they have these cars that they're real excited about because they go so fast. They stole these cars, like, one's a Chrysler and the other one's, I can't remember what, but anyway, Model T maybe, and they're real excited about these cars because they go so fast. But then in trying to get away from all of these people that are coming after them in this town, they drive out onto this country road. I mean, this is literally the story of Bonnie and Clyde, okay? I mean, like, everything in their life goes wrong. And so they're, like, out on this dirt road, and they think they got away from, you know, the cops and all, and it's like the whole town is chasing after them. It's like, what do you call it in that movie, or in the, if you ever read about The Night Strangler, and, like, when all the people in the neighborhood start coming for him, you know, it's like, it totally reminds me of that. And so, anyway, they are driving down this dirt road, and then it starts to rain, and then it starts to pour, and it turns the dirt road to mud. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's just kind of like, I mean, literally, this is kind of like the story of their life. And the cars, like, sink in because they're so heavy into the mud. And, ooh, this is like a really bright truck. And the cars sink into the mud, and then they have to get out of the cars, and they have to run through this, like, field of mud, and then anyway, it's just like, and then Bonnie ends up getting caught by the police, and Clyde basically tells her to get caught because he can get away, and then he can come and rescue her, and she can say that she was, like, kidnapped by them, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just, they're just idiots, and, like, nothing ever works in their favor. And this is really what, like, the true telling of the book is supposed to be, is that, like, everybody glamorized Bonnie and Clyde like they were this, like, genius criminal duo, when in reality they were just total idiots, like, complete idiots. I mean, they were not idiots, like, they were smart, like, in trying to, like, piece together things and figure things out, but, like, as far as, like, nothing went the way that they planned it. It looks like they got a little bit more snow up here, but I can't really tell because the roads are cleared. But, like, on the side, it looks like there's a little bit more snow. I can't really tell. There's cars out here on the road, though. Here comes another plow truck. Well, at least I was able to get out and vlog tonight, since tomorrow I'll be in the driveway with our 12 to... I was just sitting here talking and the camera had already shut off. But I was saying that, I don't know if I caught this part or not, but I said that I was really glad that I got to come out and vlog tonight, because tomorrow I'll be in the driveway with this alleged conspiracy speculation, 6 to 12 to 18 inches of snow that Tanya keeps on telling me that we're gonna get between 4 and 8 a.m., but I'm not buying it. But anyway, are there any deer out there? I love to look out at this field and see if you can see any of the deer out there. See? When there's snow, you can spot the deer clearer. I love to see deer out by the trees and stuff. Sometimes they sleep underneath the pine trees. There was this pine tree by Tanya's house that this one deer slept under for a while. It doesn't even feel that cold outside. It's 25 degrees. But it doesn't really even feel that cold out. So yeah, Bonnie and Clyde is good. I'm really enjoying it. Why was my rear view, my thing not melting? I don't know. Anyway, you know the other thing in talking about like weather stuff, I remember as kids, well, this was a Midwestern thing probably in Indiana. I don't know, maybe it was everywhere. Tornado drills were a huge thing for us. Like the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. And, but I can remember we had tornado drills a lot at school. Like I can really remember it. And I can remember several times, couple times, where like we were at school and we had to like go out in the hallway and all that kind of stuff. And you could hear it like this town siren go off because of they had spotted a tornado or something like that. So I can remember that happening several times. I actually have a friend of mine. This is a really bizarre story. So she lived in Indianapolis before she ended up moving to California. She lives in Florida now, but I think she listens to my vlogs sometimes, actually. So if you're listening to my vlog, you know the story's about you. It's funny because, well, I'll tell you about the sheets. So she and I were super, super close. And before my roommate that I talk about that lives in Germany, before she and I, like after I got sober, moved in together, okay? Like we lived together and shared a double bed and stuff and just partied all the time. No, it was never romantic or anything like that. But anyway, obviously. But anyway, during that time period, that roommate of mine, so this friend of mine, she moved to LA, and this roommate of mine, she moved out to LA too, and moved in with her, and they lived together for a while, and they worked out there together. And I've actually talked about this on here before because it's kind of a really sad, desperate story. But then my roommate kind of got her stuff together. They both did. Got their stuff together and kind of like pulled out of all of that. But anyway, so at this time though, my friend, she was going to school here at IUPUI with, like, we were both going to school at the same time. This was before I got sober. And this was before she moved to California, because when she moved to California, she never moved back to Indianapolis. She moved from California to, I can't remember where she moved after that. She lived in California for a long time. Anyway, this is, come on, camera. She lived in LA for a long time. So, but her parents moved from, I can't remember where they lived. Oh, they were from like southern Indiana. They were from like close to where my ex is from, Seymour. They were down by there, Columbus, I think. And so they had moved to like Kansas City or somewhere Kansas area. And at that point, it was her mom and her dad and her brother, who at the time was like, I believe he was like 15 or 16. And so anyway, she went home for Thanksgiving to be with her family for Thanksgiving, because they had just moved there like 6 months before and 3 months before or something like that. And she hadn't gone there yet and visited them. I don't know why this camera is doing this tonight. It's literally driving me crazy. It did this the other night too, you guys. I need a new beanbag. So anyway, so she went home just because she hadn't seen her parents' new house yet, and so she went there. And I remember it was so funny because I had these sheets on my bed that she loved, and they were like real unique sheets. They were like this burgundy color, and then they had like these, I don't even know how to explain it, but they were like, oh shoot, what's the word? They look like amoebas. I can't think of what the word is that I'm looking for. But, anyway, I loved these sheets. And I think I actually had them at my dad's house and brought them to my apartment or something. And they were like, had been my dad's or something first, because, so she remembered those sheets. And when she went to her parents' house, like, her brother had those sheets on his bed, the same sheets that I had that were like burgundy with these like amoeba looking things. They weren't amoebas, but they looked like it. Okay, I don't know what is going on here. This camera is giving me all kinds of heck tonight. And now we're back to the snowy road. Is it focused? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so she was there and she was working on this paper at her parents' house, and it was like the day after Thanksgiving, I think, it was like the day after or the day before Thanksgiving. And so her family, I think it was the day after, and they were like, we're gonna go, and she had like her aunt and uncle were visiting or something too, and so she was like, her family was like, we're gonna go into town and we're gonna go, I think bowling or to a movie, but I think it was bowling. And so she was like, okay, she was like, well, I've got this paper that I'm working on, so I'm just gonna stay here. So she's staying at her house, right, her parents' house, and she's sitting there, and she had driven there from Indianapolis, and so maybe it was St. Louis that they lived, because I feel like it was closer than Kansas. Maybe it was St. Louis, but anyway, so she was sitting there, and this is a friend of mine that has the weirdest stories, the weirdest coincidences, which I'm not a believer in coincidences, the weirdest intuitions about stuff. So anyway, something about, she was sitting there and she was like, you know, I feel like I should go see my family. Like, I should be spending, like, it wasn't like, I should go spend time with my family. It was like, I feel like there's something going on. Like, I should be there. Like, there's something wrong. So she went into town to go find her family, and so she was going to this bowling alley. Well, she gets to the bowling alley, and her family has left. And I'm almost positive it was a bowling alley. I'll have to call her and ask her, because it'd be so funny to hear the story from, I mean, it's not a funny story, but she'd be like, how do you remember that? I mean, this was like, if I got sober when I was 22, this is probably like when I was like 20. So this is like 29 years ago. So anyway, so while she's in town, the sirens start going off, and she's like, what is going on? And people are like, it's a tornado. Like, they've spotted a tornado. Well, this tornado tore through wherever they lived, and I mean, demolished. Like, it would like take 3 houses out and leave 1 standing. It was like one of those tornadoes. And so the tornado goes, and like, she's at this like bowling alley, I think, and like staying there to be safe and all this kind of stuff. So she finally starts heading home like hours later, and she's fine, and her car's fine and everything like that. She starts to head home, and she gets to like where the street is that her parents live on, and it's like police barricaded off. And so she goes up to the police officer, and she's like, I've got to get down to the street. Like, my family lives in the street. And she's like, I'm really worried about them. And she was like, the police officer was like, were they in that house? And she said, I think so, because they had gone into town to go bowling, but they weren't there when I got there, so they probably would have made it home by that point, and whatever, because I think she drove around town for a little while looking at stuff before she went to the bowling alley or something like that, just to see the town. I can't remember. But anyway, there was some reason why there was like a period of time. And so the police officer like let her walk down, not drive down, because several of the houses like on the street have been demolished. And so he just wanted to make sure which houses like hers was. And so like he walked her down with her, and she looked at her house was completely gone, you guys. I mean, this brand new house that her parents lived in, completely gone. And she walked up to the house, and the tree out front was still standing, but the house was gone, and it had that sheet in the tree that she remembered that I had. Her family was completely safe. They weren't even back yet, so they were all safe. Everything was fine, but their house was completely demolished. Isn't that so sad? But I remember her telling me that story when she came back. It's crazy. Her whole life, she needs to write a memoir. I mean, she has had so many crazy things happen to her. This right here is where people ask me all the time where the cooler is that I saw this summer, or was it 2 summers ago? I don't know, that I almost went out to see what was in it. Somebody the other day, what was it? They were like, you need to go and look in, what was it that they said? To look inside to see what was in that. Was it a freezer or something? I can't remember what they said. You guys are crazy for the things that you tell me to go do in the vlogs. Oh, I also want to say this. This is really funny to me. Based on like a lot of the questions that I get or comments that people leave me, I can totally tell like how long people have been watching my vlogs. It's so funny. And then there are several of you, like Linda's real good about this. So hey Linda, how are you? That will go in and like if somebody asks a question, they'll like respond to it and they'll like give the information. I can't remember what it was. It was something, somebody was like, does Peter do such and such this, or why does Peter do this, or something, and like I was going to respond to it, and then Linda had responded to it and answered. I almost want to feel like it was something to do with being a vegetarian, but I can't remember. But I love that, you know, it's because I've been vlogging all this time, so I just assume that, you know, like everybody knows every story that I've ever told, but then I kind of forget that there are people that have maybe only watched for like a couple weeks or don't watch every vlog, you know, obviously, and just catch vlogs, you know, every once in a while. So it's kind of funny to me because like in my head, I like just assume that everybody knows all the stories, you know. I can't remember what it was. Somebody asked me, they were like, well, at least, like, it seems like once every vlog or every other vlog, somebody will be like, can you explain this? Like, I don't know why you say this. Oh, somebody, like, even just the other day, somebody was like, what's the blue hearts for? I was like, oh my God, that's like 4 years ago. The blue hearts thing is just something that I started on here. I'd actually seen this video, and it was talking about, calling out Jeffree Star, because Jeffree Star used to call it like, he would say like Snapchat fam, and he would say if you're from Snapchat, like he would put on Snapchat, I have a new video up, and then he would say if you go from if you heard about it from Snapchat or whatever, go leave like, you know, red hearts or something on my video, and then he'd say, hey Instagram fam, new video up, go leave purple hearts. And it was really smart because it was a way that he could tell like where people were watching his videos. And so I just started it as a joke with blue hearts, and it was representing the wolf pack, which was all of us just getting through life one day at a time. And so, and people, it's because to this day people are like, it's the wolf pack, not the wolf pack. I'm like, it's the wolf pack. It's WOOF, and it's actually based on, I don't know why I decided to call, I think somebody else decided that they were going to do that and say they were going to call themselves the wolf pack. But anyway, it started because back in the day, I used to listen to Tyler Oakley and his friend Corey Kroll's, I haven't listened to it in forever, their podcast called Psychobabble. And, you know, I am so just like, do you, you know, like with, smoking pot and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of, and this isn't even a recovery thing to me, it just is kind of a turn-off thing for me. When people, like, shove it in your face, like, they really want you to, and also when they're, like, 30 to 35, and they really want you to know how much they smoke pot, it's like, it kind of is, it feels to me like the 35-year-old, 30-year-old trying to be 16 years old. I don't understand it. And, like, the other day, Tyler Oakley posted a picture. I think it was on his Instagram. I think I still follow him on Instagram. And it was, like, him holding this bong in his living room. And he was like, yeah, just hanging out, getting high. And I was like, why is that necessary? I just don't understand it. It reminds me very much of Gabby Hanna is the same way. Like, wanting to tell everybody that she's smoking a blunt. I'm like, okay, girl, you know, do you? I don't understand your need to constantly, you know, but whatever, do a press release about it. So he, like, Tyler Oakley, like, just kind of really changed a lot over time for me. And it wasn't just that, it was a lot of different things. And he posted this thing, like, somebody was talking about how Tyler has lost, like, it was a TikTok, I think, and he has lost his complete following or whatever. But he was like, yeah, I'm doing just fine, I'm completely thriving and whatever. And so, basically, I don't know how Tyler Oakley makes his money anymore. I don't know if it's because he's got investments. I do know that he came out several years ago. People had, like, a huge issue with this. I don't know why at the time. It was like, it was kind of a drama story. I may have talked about it in a video, but I don't think I covered anything about it. But that he owns a lot of property and he's, like, a landlord, which is smart. I mean, like, a lot of YouTubers do that, you know, when they get a bunch of money and they buy some property and whatever. I mean, I think it's smart down the road. I think that's probably what he does now, because other than that, it seems like he just sits around and gets high and goes to music festivals and works out. Like, that's kind of his life, which, hey, I mean, that probably sounds like a great life to a lot of people, you know. But I don't know what else he does, because he doesn't really post videos on YouTube anymore. If he has, I haven't noticed. He posts regularly on... He's a Twitch streamer now. That's what he does. He plays games on Twitch. I forgot about that. I still like Tyler Oakley. I mean, he's still somebody, you know, that really inspired me to start YouTube. I watched him for years. He seems like a really nice guy. Like, honestly, like a really nice guy. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff, you know. But whatever. What was I going to say? I was going to say something else. There's a little bit more snow up here. Not really, though. Not really. I'm about as north in Hamilton County as you can get before it crosses over into Boone County. And we're like, Boone County. And we're still not getting tons of snow up here. I don't get it. But it's only 1:25 now, so maybe at 4 a.m., like Tanya Jean said. How did I get into all of that? Talking about all that. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, that I used to listen to Psychobabble with Tyler Oakley and Corey Cruel. But what did that have to do with anything? I think he still has the podcast. That was also the name of his book, was Psychobabble, which is actually a great name for it. It's a really cute name for a podcast. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So, when, like, if a gay guy is walking down the street and he sees, like, a masculine guy, like another gay masculine guy that he thinks is attractive, he'll go woof like that, okay? Like dog kind of calling, you know? It's like, it's a term of endearment, kind of like woof, like damn, he's hot, you know? And so I said something about, because Corey Cole and Tyler Oakley, they said that a lot. They'd be like, we were walking down the street and this guy was like, damn, you know, super fine and whatever. So it was like some joke from that. And yeah. Anyway, that's how it started all those years ago. Not really, no, most people don't say anything about the Wolfpack anymore, though. Most people just say stuff about being vloggerinos, which I absolutely love. That makes me so happy. But most people don't say anything about the Wolfpack anymore, you know? You guys, I don't know why, but my whole camera just completely, like, turned off. It doesn't even feel that hot. I don't know what happened. I kind of think I'm on, like, the edge of glory. No, I'm on the edge of glory. I think I'm on the edge of having to get a new camera. But anyway, I was talking about vloggerinos versus Wolfpack. I think, no, I think I need to get a new camera. Not many people today use the term Wolfpack, and like that watch my videos. Not many people say that. They'll say, but a lot of people do say they're from the vloggerinos. They'll say, oh, I'm a vloggerino. So, anyway. How did I go from tornado drills to that? We used to do fire drills too. And I can remember we would walk in a single file line all the way out. And the teachers always act like it was like real. They'd always be like, come on, we have to go. And I can remember there was always that part of me that was like, is this a drill or is there really like a fire? You know? More things I loved from being a kid. I also, one of the things I loved was we used to get these papers that we would get at the beginning of the month, and it would be like a calendar, right? And then it would have on there like what our lunches were every day. And my mom and I would sit and we would go through them, like if I wanted to take my lunch, if I didn't like something that was, it was called like a hot lunch, like if you bought the hot lunch there. And so, which I like almost always got hot lunch until I got older, but I can remember like my mom would like circle the ones I was like the most excited about. And there was this thing, every time I talk about this on here, somebody's like, oh my God, I make that. Or somebody will be like, oh, I Googled it, now I know what it is. There was this thing that we had at school, and it was called Johnny Marzetti, and I was like obsessed with this stuff, you guys. And it would like come with like a peanut butter sandwich or something. And it was kind of like a mixture of like, I don't really know how to explain it. It was kind of like a, between like spaghetti and lasagna. It was kind of like somewhere in between there. And it was called Johnny Marzetti, and I absolutely loved it. And my mom would be like, it's Johnny Marzetti tomorrow. And I always got so excited when it was Johnny Marzetti. I was such a sweet kid. I got, you know, like, I lived in such a lonely world, just this, like, very private world. I just lived in a lot of books. I read a lot when I was a kid. It was such a form of escapism for me. And I loved it. And I watched a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff like that, you know, when I was a little kid. And I lived in a very kind of like dreamlike world. But I was a really sweet, innocent kid, and I got very excited about just stuff like that, you know, like Johnny Marzetti or, you know, whatever, pizza day at school. Pizza wasn't one of my favorite things when I was growing up. I can't remember the other things I really liked at school, though. But it was never the popular stuff. Whatever was popular was not, like, my favorite things in school. And, I can remember my mom I just remember I was, you know, I'd pick out my outfits every day, and I always wanted to look really, really nice, and I always wanted my teachers to like me, and I was very shy and very quiet in class. I was telling a story the other day about how you know, like, I'd always have, like, one or two girlfriends in my class, and so, you know, of course, we'd sit by each other, and I'd get in trouble talking to them. And then I was always the one that got in trouble. It was never my friends. I'd be like, they were talking too, and it was always me that got caught talking, you know, and got in trouble for it. But other than, like, you know, one or two girlfriends that I had in school, I never had really any friends. I mean, I would have, like, one little guy friend, you know, a friend that was a guy, you know, maybe for a couple weeks, and then, you know, but it just didn't last. And I will tell you the other thing that was so hard was that And I didn't realize this till later. This was like elementary and early junior high. Like after that, I think kids were just old enough they didn't really care and they were just mean to be mean. But do you know what's so funny tonight is that the red truck is not here, the red pickup truck. I wonder if it's because of the weather. But let's do a little obstacle course through the parking lot. The hardest thing about that sometimes was, like, let's say if I was friends with somebody for, let's say, 5 or 6 weeks, right? And typically during that time, like, they didn't know any better than not to be friends with me. Like, if they were new to town, or like they just, like, maybe were in a different class or hadn't been aware of, like, you know, that people made fun of me for some reason, how they didn't know it. I don't know, but we would become friends, right? And then what would happen is we would stop being friends because of the other kids picking on me and picking on that person too. Because if they were friends with me, then by association, you know, the last thing you wanted to be in elementary school or junior high was friends with a gay kid, because, you know, which I didn't even know what that meant, but everybody was calling me that, because that meant that you were gay too. And so then these boys would stop being friends with me because they didn't want to be called gay, you know, by association. And, I mean, I think back on this and it's like thinking about, and this is 7, 8, 9, and 10 years old. That's a kid, you know? I've got friends of mine that have kids that old today. Hell, my nephews are that old. I look at Carlitos and I think, God, I just hope that you're not that cruel to somebody, you know, or nobody's that cruel to you. Because Carlitos is a real popular kid. He's very athletic, and, but he's also very sweet. Like, Sebastian is very athletic too. Like, he just started basketball. They, like, love to have them all in sports and stuff like that. But they're also involved in a lot of artsy stuff too, so it all balances itself out, I guess. But Carlitos is very protective and very sensitive and gentle and sweet with Sebastian. So I don't think he is. But I'm just like, you know, I don't know. Like, you never, like, it's hard. Like, you think of that as being such a young age. Like, I was looking at him at Sebastian's birthday party and I was thinking to myself, you know, like, those were some of the worst years of my life. And here's this kid, you know, bowling in his own bowling lane with, like, that guard thing, you know, where he put and stuff, and he's having a blast by himself, and he's doing these dances and stuff, and I'm thinking, like, I was, like, dying inside at that age, and nobody had any clue, you know? And, like, those were really some of the hardest ages for me. I think he seems very happy, so... But then what would happen is these kids that I was friends with, they would stop being friends with me because they didn't want the pressure from the other kids. And then what would happen is they would switch to the other side, and then they were friends with the kids that were being mean to me, and then they would start being mean to me too. Or they would just be part of it, but I can just remember the look on their faces, like they couldn't stand up for me or stick up for me. And maybe, like, some of them would say things and some of them would just look at me like, you know. And then I can remember my mom would say to me, like, where's that Jason? You're not friends with Jason anymore. What happened? Oh, we're just not friends anymore. Well, what happened? Did something happen? No. You know? And no mom was going to say to another mom, well, like, you know, I mean, it wasn't like my mom was calling the parents up and asking them what happened, but, like, you know, even if they had seen the parents at the school functions or PTA meetings and stuff, it's not like Jason's mom was going to say to my mom, well, Jason didn't want to be friends with Peter anymore because all the kids tease him for being gay. No parent's going to say that to another parent, right? So then my mom just lived clueless all those years. You know, maybe I should have said something. Maybe I should have and not been so all alone. But I don't, even today, I don't really know how I feel like that would have made anything any different. I really don't. I think if my mom had gone to the school and beat down the principal's door and the counselor's door, and what were they going to do? Force people to be friends with me? Like, I mean, it wasn't going to change anything, you know? So I don't know. Oh my Lord. Oh, but that was hard too. So then my mom would ask me, like my dad didn't. I think my dad did know the score, but my mom would say to me like, oh, you're not friends with this person. We haven't seen him for a while, or do you want to call him? I'd be like, no. I can really remember being really sad about some of that stuff. Not really understanding it, because you're so young, you don't understand that stuff of what's wrong with me. Why doesn't somebody want to be my friend, It's not like at, 5 to 10 years old, I asked to be effeminate acting or have a feminine voice or walk in a feminine, it's not like, or just because I like to wear nice clothes or look nice that people would say that was effeminate, or because I cared about my hair or whatever, it was like, all of that was like, it wasn't like I was asking to be so different, So I just wanted to be liked like everybody else. And what's interesting is that every once in a while, I haven't gotten these comments in a while, but every once in a while I'll get comments and people will say, my God, Peter, like it's been like 40 years, why don't you get over it? But then we want to also talk about that those are fundamental years for kids, right? Like those are foundation development years. Like any kind of education, if you're in education, will teach you that, speaking of education, somebody asked me, I don't know what it was in reference to, but somebody said something like, why was I instructing teachers? It was just like a real short question. I actually hadn't seen the person before on any of my videos, but it was just like a really short question. It said something like, why were you instructing teachers? Or what were you instructing teachers about? Or something like that. I can't remember how it was said. But anyway, I don't know if that was in reference to me talking about when I was working in an elementary school, doing my internship practicum, and I said that we had to take referrals from teachers. I don't know if that's what they were talking about. The other thing that I did do, though, is that I actually worked with these parents in Indianapolis whose son had died from sudden sniffing death syndrome. And the dad wrote a book, but that was years later. But I used to go, so the treatment program would book speaking engagements at conferences and at schools. And so myself and the parents, we would go to schools and we would instruct teachers and educate teachers on sudden sniffing death syndrome and addiction and the prevalence of sudden sniffing death syndrome, which is huffing. And so I would tell my story about sobriety and how it started, my addiction stuff and getting sober young. And then they would tell their story of what had happened with their son and things that they had wished they had looked for and things that, whatever. And they actually educated, they were really big going around and doing that. And so I went with them many times, and it was like part of my job requirement. And then we would also educate on like signs and symptoms to look for addiction, but we would do it for teachers and educators and administrators so that they knew what to look for within school systems. So that was one of the things that we did. And then later, Alex and I actually, we did a lot of anti-bullying advocacy and telling our stories and things like that. So it wasn't really necessarily education. Well, education about addiction and recovery, yes, definitely. But it was more so education but it wasn't like I was teaching a class. It was like, you would go and like do a conference or something like that. I've done that for probation officers. I've done that for judges. I can't tell you how many judges, probation officers, and parole officers I know in the state of Indiana and in the Midwest, talking to them about my story and, loopholes that I looked for and getting through like the, probation system and things like that, and whatever stories I've heard and all that. But what was I talking about with schools and education? I don't know. I said something that I got sidetracked. But yeah, school was so hard for me back then, and it's like, oh, I know what I was talking about. I was talking about like the developmental years. It's like, I I wish, in all honesty, that I could just let it go. I really wish that I could just move through it. I hope to God that I'm not 75 and I'm looking back going, yeah, when I was bullied when I was 5. You know, I really hope that I'm not. I don't want to live with this stuff. But it comes up today. It still comes up today in day-to-day stuff that I do. You know, in criticizing myself, and the tape that I run in my head when, you know, other people say things. You know, I still get judged for being gay and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know what world you live in, but in the world that I live in, we don't live in a completely liberal world where people are just open-minded about everything, you know? And so that goes all the way back to all of that. And those feelings, even if the facts don't come up, the feelings and the emotions come up, you know? It's the same thing as, like, having grown up with a mother that was an alcoholic. I mean, that's why there are programs like ACOA, like Adult Children of Alcoholics, because even though today you might not be suffering from the same things that you went through, let's say, you know, 40 years ago when my mother was an active alcoholic, you still have responses, fear, reactions, feelings and emotions, and responding to the world based on how you were basically trained to feel when you were growing up in similar situations of stuff that happens. That makes sense? So it's like why people go to ACOA meetings and work a 12-step program in ACOA for very similar readings, or for very similar reasons. But I actually work on a lot of those issues with my sponsor, who knows a lot about ACOA, because you might ask, well, Peter, why don't you go to ACOA? Well, I could go to ACOA. I could probably go to every 12-step program. Not every one of them, but I mean, I could probably go to 2 or 3 of them, you know? But I work the majority of them with my sponsor that I have now. This vlog has been all over the place. I've talked about snowstorms that we didn't get, and I've talked about going to school and being bullied and friends, and, you know, I never really thought about it from that point of view, though. Like, I don't think I, like, specifically broke it down and thought about how tough it was to, like, when my mom would ask me, well, what happened to so-and-so? Why don't you hang out with him anymore? He seemed really nice. Like, that was so hard, because I felt like I did something wrong, you know, when I didn't do anything wrong at all. That was really hard. That was hard. I also, though, believe that what I went through to get where I'm at today. So as lonely as it was, as tough as it was, you know, had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I'm thankful that I'm thankful for who I am today. You know, I can remember saying to my mom one time, she didn't like hearing it like this either. We were talking about the drugs I used and stuff, blah, 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 whatever. And she's like, don't tell people all this and whatever. This was like when we first got sober. Over time, she understood the difference of it. She was like, you don't have to always tell everybody about, you know, because I'm real vocal about my drug history. You all know that, right? She's like, you don't have to tell everybody about doing cocaine and all this kind of stuff. I said, Mother, I'm thankful for every line of cocaine that I ever did and every rock I smoked. Oh, don't say that. I said, I am. I wouldn't have what I have today. I wouldn't be sober today. This was, you know, this was at like a year or two sober. I wouldn't be sober today. I wouldn't have what I had I not gone through that. I had to go through that to get where I'm at, you know? I don't think you necessarily get that sometimes, but I mean, she did with alcohol. I don't know why it would have been different with anything else. I'm actually thinking about doing this kind of like series. I don't know, I might do it like once a week on my Peter Does Stuff channel, where I read from my mom's journals, and I was going to call it like getting to know my mom through her journals, and then I would just like every week I would pick a selection of her journal out and read it. I'm really thinking about doing that. Then I would also have that on video if I wanted to go back and look at it. I also need to like watch that video of my cousin's wedding. at this point, it's not like any kind of resistance. For a while, I thought it was like this subliminal resistance. So my cousin gave me this tape from her wedding that has my mom speaking on it. She's reading from Corinthians. I haven't, it was like her favorite passage from the Bible. You know, the part about love and all that, but the greatest one of all is love. My mom loved that passage in the Bible. So she asked if she could, like when we were picking things out to do, I was at, what do you call it? I walked my aunt down the aisle. That was my job. Walked the mother of the bride down the aisle. An usher. I was an usher. My hair was like, was it growing out then? I think I was growing it back out again, and it was like this long. It looks so cheesy. But anyway, I have this tape, this videotape, VCR, because I was at Caroline's house like a year ago or something, and I said that I hadn't heard my mom speak since the day she died. Like, I haven't heard her voice. I had a tape from like her, she had an answering machine, and so I thought her voice was on there one day, and I went to go play it, and I forgot that she had me record the message because she didn't want someone to think that a older single woman was living by herself. So she's like, you need to record the message. So it was me on the voicemail. But anyway, so Caroline was like, I have this VCR tape that has, you know, I think my mom's on there dancing and stuff too, but it has my mom reading. And it's funny because she had this big brim. She bought this dress and this hat from Banana Republic. She was so proud of it. And she had this big brim sun. My cousin got married in June. And she had this big brim. I think my mom and my cousin's wedding anniversary is the same date. But anyway, like my mom and dad and then Caroline and Mike, I think they have the same. It's either a day apart or it's the same day. And so my mom had this big straw hat that went with this dress. And when she was so short that it kept on hitting the microphone when she was talking like this, and it was real funny. But anyway, yeah, I like really wanted to hear my mom's voice again, but I feel like I can kind of hear it in my head from time to time. But anyway, so Caroline gave me this VCR tape, and I still haven't watched it. And for a long time, I thought there was kind of like this resistance within me to watch it. Like, you know, like you really want to hear something, but you don't know, but you don't. But I don't think that's it at all. I just forget. I honestly just forget all the time. And I know exactly where it's at. It's on the table in the basement. All I have to do is bring it upstairs and watch it. So I keep on saying, I'm going to do it in a video and watch it on video and record my reaction, but I keep on forgetting. So you guys, the sky isn't even all cloudy. It's kind of a little clear, like off in the distance. Winter storm, I'm so mad. There goes out of focus again. Come on, don't go out of focus. Don't. Why does it keep on doing that? Well, I think that means it's time for me to get off here and listen to a little Bonnie and Clyde anyway. So I'm gonna get off here and listen to Bonnie and Clyde. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I don't even know how long I've been vlogging now. I have no idea. I'm like trying to piece it together in my head how long I was vlogging before, but I don't remember. I do know this battery has gone longer. This is like the newest of the 4 batteries. I need to just use I haven't started using the new batteries that I bought yet. I know. I need to start using those. Oh, and the other thing is I didn't open the packages tonight because I wanted to do that like while I'm standing there in the kitchen or just sit down there and show them. And Alex was in bed, so I was like, I'm not gonna vlog while, you know, he's getting ready to go to bed and he's watching TikToks and stuff. So I wanted him to be able to relax. So I will do that tomorrow or Friday on the vlog. I will start the vlog that way by showing that stuff. So anyway, yeah, and thank you for that as well. I appreciate it. And the battery just went to the halfway mark, and I think on this battery it goes to the halfway mark and then it dies like that. So if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And important things to remember. First of all, 3 things to remember. You can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness. And 3, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know. 3, and most important, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this evening, wherever you are, whatever time it is. I hope that you are safe. I hope this vlog met you at, I don't know what I was gonna say. If you're having a bad day, I hope that it brought you some happiness and joy and peace and serenity and calmness. And if you're having a good day already, fantastic. And if you're going to bed, get a good night's rest. And if you're getting up and getting ready for the day, this is gonna be a great day. We're almost at the weekend. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Oh, and for those that need to hear it, those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, one more I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. It just started flashing red because it's gonna die. So anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. I love you. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Elena.